Hey, everybody, Dr. Nicole Bonner with Thrive Chiropractic Coaching, and welcome to Wednesday Workshop. And happy hump day, right? Why do I do Wednesday workshops? Because it is the middle of the week. And if there's any time that you need more inspiration or more motivation, it's Wednesday. And that's why I'm convinced most medical doctors take off on Wednesday and go golfing. I don't know, but we're chiropractors, so we're here, we're serving patients, so let's do this thing. Back in the fall of 2023, I had an extraordinary experience of going to Tony Robbins' UPW, and it was such an amazing experience that I tapped into parts of myself that I didn't even know existed within me. And one of the speakers, one of the last speakers of the weekend was, I think, my favorite speaker of the entire weekend, and it was a total transformation. I didn't think it was going to be, and I'll tell you why in a second, but the speaker's name was Kern Lima. Now, if you don't know who Kern Lima is she is the one of the first female self-made billionaires in America. And there are lots of female billionaires, I know that, but she's one of the first self-made female billionaires. She literally started out, she was a Denny's waitress, and went to a Tony Robbins UPW, transformed her life, transformed her mind, and transformed her belief systems. And she now has a billion-dollar company. You would know her as the founder of IT Cosmetics. So as a side note here, love IT Cosmetics, by the way. Was using IT Cosmetics way before I even saw Jamie speak. But when I first heard that she was speaking and the topic she was speaking on, I was like, I don't know, maybe it's Sunday, maybe I'll start like early heading out to the airport. I don't know if I'm going to stay. This is all the thoughts that are like running through my head. And the reason was that her topic that she was speaking on was being worthy. And I always considered myself to have a lot of self-worth. I never considered myself to not feel worthy or not feel competent. And the thing is that as I started to listen to her speak, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm that girl, right? And so she started to ask the question, have you ever been the girl in the room at a seminar as a woman, right? And you're wanting to raise your hand and your 6 or 7 year old self prevents you from doing it, right? How many of you have ever been in the classroom where you wanted to raise your hand, but you weren't 100% sure you were right? Okay, so that got me thinking, and that really, what she was saying was really hitting home, and I really started thinking about where I was in life, how far I've come, where I've been stuck. And so I love this quote. So I went out and I bought her book. It just got released. It's called Worthy. And I love this quote. She says, in life, you don't soar to the levels of your hopes and dreams. You stay stuck at the level of your self-worth. You don't rise to what you believe is possible. You fall to what you believe you are worthy of. And so as I'm reading this book, it really got me thinking, like, it's really an odd thing because as I look at myself, I'm like, but I never feel like I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough. But when I really think about it, when I'm really honest with myself, have there been times where I've thought, I don't know if I belong with this group. I don't know if I'm good enough to be in this workshop with people or this group of people or this club, right? And so I guess we all have doubts like that. I don't know, but I know that I do. So I'm just being open and transparent with you. And so I was 38 years old, and I remember this like it was a flip of a switch. I had woken up one day. I could tell you almost the exact date. It was July 5th. And I woke up one day and I found myself in a state of complete depression. And I was having a phone call that week with my coach, my mentor, and I had hired somebody outside of chiropractic to coach me in business as a business coach and as a mentor. And he's a very high level coach. If I told you his name, you'd probably know. And so he says, how's everything going? What can I help you with this week? Tell me what were your wins this week? And I said, you know what, Rick, I'm depressed. And he goes, you're depressed? He goes, you just reached an all-time high in practice. You've been working for this. You've been striving for this. You've been preparing this. You broke through 600 office visits a week. Not only did you break through 6 office visits a week, but you have families who love you, who you're serving, and they're getting healthy and well. Why would you be depressed? And I said, I don't know, man. I've been doing this for a little while, and my whole identity is wrapped up into being this high volume chiropractor, and I'm not fulfilled. It's like I worked this whole time thinking that when I got there, I'd be happy, and I'm not. Now, what do I do? And so my coach said, well, he goes, well, maybe you're ready for your next purpose in life. Because he's like, you really did a great job serving a lot of families. That's what you wanted to do. That was your purpose in life. Maybe you're ready for your next purpose. And I said, yeah, Rick, but I don't know what that would be. Like, I felt so empty. And so he goes, well, if what would you do if you can do it all day long and not be paid for it, and you would be, feeling joy and happy when you did this? And I was like, well, I've been coaching for like 10, 15 years with other chiropractic coaches. I love what you do. The things you do for me is amazing. You help me. If it wasn't for you, Rick, I would not be reaching these next heights, next milestones in my career. I love to do that for people. And in fact, I've been volunteering for the last 10, 15 years with different coaching companies, helping them mentor coach. I would really love to do that. But that's something that I do for free. I volunteer my time. I don't get paid to do it. He goes, well, why wouldn't you, why wouldn't you make it into your next calling, your next purpose, your next life's mission, your next life's purpose, and get paid for your services? I was like, I don't know, man. I go, who am I? Who am I to teach others what to do? And he chuckled and he says, you have imposter syndrome. I said, what now? I go, I'm a chiropractor. We don't talk about syndromes and things like that. He goes, no, you have imposter syndrome. He goes, who you are is somebody who set out, created goals for yourself. You've achieved those goals. You've seen a high volume chiropractic practice. Not only have you seen a high volume chiropractic practice, but the people who come to you pay full fee for your service. He said, do you know how rare that is in chiropractic? And he goes, who are you not to teach people how to do that? And that was the light bulb. That was the aha moment where I went from having confidence to feeling worthy. So there's a difference between self-worth and self-confidence. See, I had a lot of self-confidence because everything that I was basing the way that I felt about myself was based on the things that were happening to me on the outside. Like if I had a win that day, if I had 100% conversions that day, if I had a great collections day, if I had, a record new patient day. The reverse was true too, though, you guys. So if nobody converted that day, or I had a bad, I had no new patients that day, or we had a low office volume that day, right? So my confidence was like this like roller coaster type of thing, where it's like when things went well, I was really confident, and when things didn't go so well, my confidence got shaken a little bit. But I would say overall my confidence was like always really strong, because I always put the value of myself on the things that I did, like the extrinsic things. See, self-worth is different though. So self-worth is in an innate sense. It's an innate sense of being good enough. It's an innate sense of being deserving of love, and being deserving of respect, and being deserving from others, and also yourself. So it's about valuing oneself regardless of one's achievements, regardless of your failures. It's about loving yourself or valuing yourself regardless of how others perceive you. So self-worth is fundamental because it forms the basis of how we interact with the world around us, right? So it's it's fundamental because it forms the, I'm saying this again, I know I'm repeating myself, you guys, I'm not getting old, I swear, but I just thought this was so important. Self-worth is fundamental because it is the basis of how we interact with the world, right? It's the basis of how we make decisions, and it's what kind of drives us, and is the foundation of how we pursue our goals. It might even be the foundation for the goals that you create for yourself. So have any of you guys ever said, like, all right, hey, you know what? My goal is to see 1,000 office visits a week. I'm not in that league. Have you ever felt like that? Right? So, sure, right? So, how do we build self-worth, right? I think we all know how to build confidence, but how do we build that intrinsic self-worth? So there's 3 steps to truly elevate your life. The focus should be on nurturing yourself. This involves number 1, self-acceptance, acknowledging and embracing all parts of yourself, including your flaws and including your past mistakes. Number 2, self-compassion, being kind and understanding to yourself. Man, I always say sometimes we're brutal on ourselves. We're way harder on ourselves than we are on others, right? And being kind to yourself and loving to yourself, especially when you're facing an error or a failure, because you're not an error, you're not a failure. The only thing that was an error or a failure is the external event that happened. And if you've done any, I hate the word self-improvement, but if you've done any work on yourself, you know that there are no failures. There's only learning opportunities, right? We all know this. You guys have all heard that, right? So the third one is valuing your intrinsic qualities. So recognizing the qualities that make you valuable that go beyond your achievements, that go beyond your possessions, right? So often our identity lies in our achievements. I'm a high volume chiropractor. I am a billionaire. I'm not a billionaire, by the way, I wish, but that's how we identify, though, right? I am this, I am that. Intrinsic value comes from I am kind, I am loving, I am creative, I'm resilient, right? So those are all intrinsic qualities. These are the things that are innate. These are who you really are, the source of who you are as a human being. Some people call it your higher self, right? I heard Oprah talk about it, and she said, well, I have worth simply because my mom's egg and my dad's sperm came together and I was the winner. And I was like, well, that's a really great way to think about it, right? So one of the other things that Jamie Kern Lima talks about, and I talked about this in last Wednesday's workshop, is faith. So faith, your faith as the cornerstone for self-worth, and basically your faith as the foundation for everything in your life. So Jamie Kern Lima says in her book, Worthy, even our setbacks, I love this so much, even our setbacks are almost always setups for the path we're destined to take. So I believe personally, my personal faith is I believe that God always has my back. I believe that everything happens to even if I perceive them as bad, or even if I perceive them as a failure or something that's negative, I firmly believe, as part of my faith, that God has my best interest at heart. And that experience, that step, was just another step in the direction or the path that I'm meant to be on. So faith plays a pivotal role in recognizing and embracing one's self-worth, for many people. And it offers a perspective that one's value is not just a personal belief, but it is also recognized and affirmed by a higher power, right? So this divine acknowledgement can be incredibly reassuring for those struggling with self-doubt, and can serve as a powerful reminder that rejection or failure, it does not define who you are. So you are a child of God, and yes, you were the first sperm that made it there. So, in summary, I want to leave you with this. One more quote from the book Worthy. I highly recommend that you get this. And it's a great book to start a book club with as well. And Kern Lima says, if you want to double your business, double your self-worth, and watch what happens. When you change what you believe, what you change what you believe you're worthy of, you change your entire life. So happy hump day, everybody. Hopefully this was of value to you, and I will see you next Wednesday for our Wednesday workshop. Many blessings, guys.